My name is Cindy, and welcome to Let's Talk Education. Thank you so much for This Way Network to allow me to put on some videos all about education. I am just so excited to share this video with you. This is my second video in the series. My first video was all about me and my background and who I am and my education experience. So if you want to check that video out, if you have not so far, that will tell you a little bit about me. And today I am going to talk a little bit about homeschooling. Homeschooling is a great choice for education. I'm just so thankful that in America, we have the choices that we do have. And I'll talk a little bit about that during this video. So I have homeschooled for 15 years and I just loved it. And I'm going to share with you my experience with homeschooling. And homeschooling is as easy as making a cup of coffee. Well, maybe not, but it was fun to make this little slideshow for you. Homeschooling. Yeah. Okay. Have it your way. You like with cream, with sugar. Actually, I like my coffee black. So I don't know what that means about me, but here we go. My name is Cindy Bennett, and this is presented to you by myself. And you can also find me on youtube.com at Cindy Bennett 13. 13 because I have 13 kids. That's right. 13 children. They're all mine, same mom, same dad, no twins, no adopted kids, one by one. They were, born by me personally. So this is their picture, oldest to youngest, and we call it baby order. I have a BS in math education. I'm a wife of 38 years, teacher, mom to 13, grandma to 5, soon to be 6. Homeschool mom and Christian school teacher, virtual teacher, lover of all crafts, committed to God and his will. This is my picture in the epic times. They had a reporter come to the state capitol, and I happened to be there. We were talking about CRT, and they had an Asian group that came, and they put on this whole event, and they were talking about the fact that we don't want CRT in our schools. And they interviewed me and asked me why I wanted to homeschool. And I said, I believe in teaching kids real history of our country, about people who fought for freedom, and about Christian values, working hard, doing a good job, doing your best, and just loving God. So hopefully you agree with that as well. I know the people on This Way Network have the same mindset, that we just want to just be free and live the way God intended us to live. And that's what I wanted to do for my children. And that's one reason why I homeschooled. So here we go. We have so many choices for education in America. You can make the choices about education for your children. You can homeschool, Christian school, charter school, virtual school. You are your child's advocate. You make the choices for your own child. Now, I'll tell you right now, as a teacher, teachers go to school to be a teacher, and they are professionals in their field, but they don't know your child. So you can't let that intimidate you to think that they know more than you about your own child. You need to look at your child and see what their strengths are, what you want to do for them for the future. And ultimately, it's your decision as a parent where you want to send them to school and what you want to do for education. So I found out that, there are education choices out there. You send your child, and the institution might think that it's their responsibility to decide the medical choices for your child. And I don't really agree with that. I think parents should decide the medical choices for their own children. There might be people out there that want to teach philosophies that aren't in line with Bible philosophies, and that's a problem, in my opinion, as well. There might be people out there that agree with the current trends in girl sports. There might be people out there that want to control even what your children eat. That should be what the parents' responsibility is. There are people in institutions that want to take patriotism out of the curriculum, or they want to teach philosophies that you might not want your child to learn. So these kind of things might steer you into a different direction, maybe homeschooling. For me, I wanted to homeschool because I wanted to teach my kids what the Bible says. I wanted to teach biblical principles, and I wanted to relate their whole life to living for God, and that God is the creator. God created us, and God created this world for a purpose. And that is important for me to instill in my children. I also love to homeschool because I can choose the community of people that I want to be involved with. And I really love that. I love the homeschool community. I've met so many great people. And right now I'm teaching at a Christian school, but I can say that during my homeschool years were some of my greatest years, and I met some of my best friends during that time. And so that's a really awesome part of homeschooling, is creating friendships and bonding with people that you can bond with as a family, not just your kids with kids their own age, but you can bond with an entire family of all different ages. And you can also bond with elderly people, and you have that freedom to meet up with all ages. And I love that part. You also have the freedom to choose what activities you're going to do as a family. This past year, my kids got in, well, it was 2020 to 2021. We homeschooled back again. And my kids were able to do snowboarding and skiing, and they loved it. They had never done it before. So you can choose your own activities. You could get together with other people, do basketball, soccer, play board games, do knitting projects. The sky's the limit, right? Art projects, gardening, photography. Whatever you choose, you can be the one to choose it. You don't have to say, what does the school offer? You can say, what does my child want to do? And then find a way to do that. I know one of my kids did a chalk drawing class. She went and learned how to tell Bible stories and do a chalk drawing at the same time. You may have seen that people do that. And one of my kids was very artistic, and we had someone in our local community that was teaching that. So she went and learned all about it. So it was great, a great experience. Also, you know, we can be in charge of whoever teaches our children. So we could, you know, have speakers come. We could meet up with speakers. I know one time there's a man who started Answers in Genesis, and he was at a local church. So we all jumped in the car. We went and met and heard him speak in person. And so that was really great. And you can also, you know, teach your kids the real history that you want to teach them. So I have learned over the years that instead of reading a book about someone, read an autobiography or a biography about them. And teacher, you know, you have the chance to talk to your students about history and what makes this country great. America is the best country on earth by far. And you can talk about what makes this country great. You can talk about what are our problems. Of course, we have problems. And what can we do to help solve these problems? And this is something that you can do as a parent instead of relying on another institution to accomplish these jobs for you. I love this quote by Candace Owens. She says, "Homeschooling was a way of the past, and it is now a way of the future. Organize. Do not let this government raise your children." So that's what she says. Think about it and see if you agree. What about you? What are your reasons that you would like to homeschool? Now, maybe your kids are all grown and you don't have an opportunity to homeschool, and you're like watching this video and saying, well, I don't have kids, and so this video doesn't apply to me. But keep watching, because you might meet people that say, I really wish I could homeschool, but I don't know how, or I wish I could homeschool, but, right? And so you could be a help to them. Find out some resources, and you could help someone get started on their homeschool journey. And you never know how you can be used in someone else's life with information that you might not think you have to know for yourself, but you might be helping someone else with that information. So in New Hampshire, well, how to homeschool in New Hampshire. First of all, let's remember that education is the parent's responsibility. It is your responsibility to teach your children. It is no one else's job and no one else's responsibility. You have the right to educate your child. You hire the school or any other entity to school your child. So if you're sending your kids to the local school, you are hiring them, and you're still the parent. You are overseeing your child. And if you don't oversee what your child is doing, someone else will. So if you want to be involved in the results, then you need to be involved in the process. So send your child, but always look and see what's going on and make sure you know what they're doing. In New Hampshire, the law says that you need to contact someone if you want to homeschool, and you give them the intent. So if you decide, hey, I'm not going to the local school, I'm going to homeschool, you have to write a letter to your SAU, or you can to the Department of Education, or you can also have an umbrella school. Like for us, if you have a local Christian school or something, you could say, would you oversee my homeschool curriculum? And they could say yes or no. And if they say yes, you just write a letter saying that thank you for overseeing, and they'll send you a letter back. And I just kind of post that on the wall. So if somebody asks me, something happens and they say, are you a legitimate homeschooler? I could just show them that piece of paper. But in New Hampshire, the laws are pretty lenient, and it's pretty easy to get started in your homeschool curriculum. So that is a really awesome thing in New Hampshire. At the end of the year, you'll need to show an evaluation. And in previous years, we had to send in an evaluation, like a testing, or you get your curriculum looked at by a teacher. But they kind of took that out now. So what they tell us to do in New Hampshire is to have an evaluation like on file. So if something happens and they're questioning whether you're homeschooling or not, you have some information to show them. So that's how that goes. This here is the website for the Department of Education, and this website will give you a lot of information on homeschooling and what you can do as a homeschooler, and just kind of the legals about it, and then you can take it from there. Another couple really good resources would be NewHampshireHomeschooling.org, Granite State Home Educators. Now, if you are not in New Hampshire, I'm sure you have resources in your state. I haven't heard of any states in the US that does not allow homeschooling. I know that some states are easier than others, and some may try to be more like oversee your home education a little more than others. But I'm pretty sure if you are in a state that you cannot homeschool, please post below and let me know. I know that from what I can gather, I haven't heard of any states that don't allow it. So here are the different types of ways that you can home educate your children related to coffee. First of all, the espresso. Okay, espresso would be like unschooling. Unschooling is like when you just it doesn't mean you don't school. It just means that you're looking at your child and you're saying, hey, my child loves fish. So we're going to learn all about fish, all about where fish live, all about fishing, all about how to fish, we're going to go fishing. Okay. You could do that for an entire year, just all about fishing. I have not done that, but it sounds like a great idea. My dad used to love fishing, but so that is something you could do. Write about fish, draw pictures of fish. I do have a friend though. She lives in Virginia and she homeschooled her son, and he loved bears, and they would go up in the mountains and they would just observe the bears. And he loved the bears, observed the bears so much that he wrote a book, and it's on Amazon. And later on he became a park ranger, and he was so regarded by the other park rangers because he knew so much about bears and about wildlife and everything. So you never know where unschooling could take you. It's kind of based on the interest of the student, and then you just kind of let it blossom from there and just kind of really delve into whatever it is that student loves. How about the iced coffee? School in a box. So you can find a curriculum. You say, hey, I want third grade, bring it, send it to my house. I want it all in a box. Every subject, third grade, that's the easiest way for me to do it. You could also do all books. You could do videos and books, depending on whatever you choose as a curriculum. And also depending maybe upon your budget, right? You could also do hot and ice tea, co-op school, trade school. Those are things that you can do. Co-op would be you get together with other families, and we have one right near us where a lot of the parents, they get together and they take turns, like, one's good at science, one's good at math, one's good at, home ec or something. And the teachers teach the classes and the kids get broken up into the different classes. And then they meet like twice a week. And then on the other days, they just do homework and stuff like that. So it's homeschooling, but you're kind of doing it as a cooperative effort. And then trade school, of course, they do offer trade schools in our area for high school students. And that's a really good option too. Who doesn't like pastries and desserts? So you can have your own mixture of homeschooling. You could do virtual school and co-op. You could do, in our state, we have Virtual Learning Academy, where all of the curriculum is on the computer. The student will read, do activities, and they will connect with a teacher maybe once or twice a month. That is free in our state to students. Okay, free, paid for by the taxpayers in our state for any student who is under high school. And that is a really good option too. And my kids have done that, like, as they go to school, and then they do a couple Virtual Learning Academy classes. And my daughter, who's in college right now, she got some college credit doing that. So that is a really great option too. So mixture is definitely a great thing to do. So there's no need to recreate the wheel right now, right? There are there are support resources everywhere available. You have online groups, local community groups, YouTube, you have local activities. You even have, you can avail yourself of resources in the public sector as well. You just need to contact them and let them know what you need for resources. And that is also an option. If you do not have any local groups in your area, form your own. There may be some homeschool families in your area right now that are looking for something, and you could start your own. And there are many people who have done that the last couple of years. Also, check into your state. In New Hampshire, we have the Education Freedom Account, this is their second year of implementing that. And if you qualify, you can get up to $4,000 to help your student with their education needs. So this could be books, any types of education resources that your student needs during their school year if they are under high school. And I know in my state, they've been talking about vouchers and about how the money would follow the child and all that. But this is what we have come up with so far. Education Freedom Account. And the only glitch with this one is there is a maximum income level. A lot of people that I've talked to are like, why does income have to be part of it? It should be just available to any homeschool family, which I would agree with. But of course, the politicians say we wouldn't have gotten it passed if we didn't have some kind of, stipulations. So if in your state you have things going on, support the effort for money for every student. Homeschool families do pay taxes just like everyone else, and we're just making different choices for our kids, and a lot of times they are good choices. So it really benefits everyone when we help our kids to succeed. So homeschooling is a choice for parents. I guess kids, it's a kid's choice too, right? Some kids say, hey, I want to homeschool. So the parents say, okay, let's go, right? And it's not the only choice, but it is a really good choice. So let's chat. If you have anything to add to this video, please let me know. If you would like to ask a question, you can post below the video, make a comment if this was helpful. Let me know if I can help you in any way with the education of your child. And thank you for watching this video. And thank you to This Way Network for letting me do this series on Let's Talk Education. There are so many different choices for education, and this video happens to be all about homeschooling, which is a great option. A lot of people in 2020 got sent home and we had to do virtual learning, and a lot of people got like I call it PTSD. They got sent home, they were in shock, they weren't used to, number one, homeschooling, they weren't used to virtual teaching, they weren't used to virtual learning, they weren't used to anything. It was just a really hard time. That is not really homeschooling. I think in 2020 some people actually excelled during that time and they enjoyed it, but I know that our local public schools, a lot of the kids have real trauma from it and they don't want to even do computer school at all. But keep in mind, if you're thinking about homeschooling and you did experience stuff in 2020, that is not homeschooling. Homeschooling is totally different because you're not staying home because you have to. You're making the choice to stay home and you're looking at the advantages that you have in teaching your own child. You're also choosing your own curriculum and doing your own schedule and just being free to be you, right? So when I homeschooled, one of the things that's really important is that you can tailor make your curriculum. And as an example, my oldest daughter was not the greatest at math. Now, math is my favorite subject, and I love math, and I like to think that all my kids are, math whizzes as well. But I could tell that she wasn't really picking up on the algebra and all that stuff. And so if you see your student that is really not excelling in a certain subject, you can give them the minimal requirements for that subject and then channel their energy in another direction. My daughter loved violin, and she took violin from the time she was 3 years old. And so by the time she was in 8th grade, she came with me to a homeschool group meeting, and all the parents were there. We were planning our, making our plans for the next year. And she stood up and she offered all of the parents to send their kids to violin lessons. And the parents loved the idea. She was charging $4 for the lesson. And so it was a great low price, and she was offering to teach their children. Now, I kind of wanted her to charge a low price because, she had never taught before. So as she got more and more experience teaching, of course, she did, up the price. And so she was able to learn so much from that experience. She learned to communicate with adults. She learned to make schedules. She learned to plan out the lessons, and, she made sticker charts for the students. She worked on motivation. So many different things that she learned. She also did recitals and programs, workshops. It was just awesome. And I would totally recommend that if you have a student that excels in music. Get them started on teaching and teach other homeschool families in your area. The one good thing about it is they can get lessons for a low price. You know, everybody's trying to just make ends meet. And it's a great way for people to get music lessons for their children. And everybody wins in that situation. She had that music school for 3 to 4 years, I believe. And everybody, no, it had to be longer than that. It was all through high school and a couple years after that. So probably 6 or 7 years. And just looking back, it's just a real bright spot in our lives. What we end up doing is, instead of having people come different days of the week, we would pick one day, and that would be the day that she would teach lessons all day long. So we would clean the house, get it ready for company, and then people would come and go throughout the day. So it just made it for one day. So it was a great experience. And I kind of had my vision on doing a music school as a family, as a, you know, as everybody. I was thinking all the kids would learn an instrument and we would do, you know, this music school, which never really materialized, but you know, that's okay. Things change. But for her, it was a great experience. And we also had a music camp one summer where we learned things. So homeschooling is a great way for you to branch off into whatever your kids excel at. You know, if you have a kid that loves art, you could just go off and, you know, whatever art they love. Or my one boy, he loved military stuff. So he went to Civil Air Patrol, where they went once a week and they did like leadership training and they did some military training stuff. And he actually really liked that. And he went to like a leadership camp in the summer. So homeschooling is not about just staying home and not associating with people. It's about learning and learning the things that you love and just enjoying the process. So that's my story about homeschooling. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope to put up another video about Christian school. I am now working at a Christian school, and there are some reasons why I went from homeschooling to the Christian school. Not everybody can homeschool. And so that's why I like to say, hey, it's an option. It's not necessarily something that everybody has to do. And for me, I have to say that when I went from homeschooling to in-person school, I felt like a little bit of a failure because I didn't stick with my homeschooling, like homeschool at all cost. I'm a homeschooler, you know, and I didn't want to disappoint the homeschool community, you know, that kind of thing. But you have to evaluate your home situation and what's working for your family. And you can't be afraid to change things up a little bit. Now, like I said before, not everybody has 13 kids. I did put 6 kids through I put 5 kids through homeschooling. One kid, his junior and senior year, went to a school, so he graduated from a school. And then the rest of them went to Christian school. So different things for different kids, different times, different situations, different desires. And the schools that I have been teaching at are very small schools. So I see my kids throughout the day. So I kind of call it homeschool with help is what I kind of call it at this point. But I enjoy it because I'm a teacher and my kids are doing well. They enjoy it right now. So I will talk about that in the next video. And for now, I really want to just say thank you for watching this video. Thank you, Homeschool Network. Thank you to This Way Network for allowing me to present this video. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.